Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry it's been a while, but I'm back now and I am ready to share some Am I the Villain stories with you. Am I the villain for putting dinner away and playing video games after my girlfriend came home drunk? My girlfriend and I live together. I'm 29 and she is 26. We've lived together for 6 months. I've been very busy at work and with life, so yesterday I was really looking forward to cooking dinner for girlfriend and I and relaxing. We had this planned all weekend. My girlfriend is more of a social butterfly than I am, so she had plans yesterday morning with her friends. She had brunch at 11, and I was planning on having dinner ready by 6:30. I expected her to have a few mimosas at breakfast, but nothing too crazy. Maybe she'd get home and take a nap before dinner. Basically, brunch turned into going to one more bar after, around 1 p.m., which turned into more bars, which basically became bar hopping all day. She was texting me, insisting that she will be home in time for dinner, but by the way she was out talking, I could tell she was drunk. I started making the pasta around 5 p.m. Around 5:30, I saw on her Snap story that she was doing shots at a bar in a completely different neighborhood of Chicago. I didn't want to be the boyfriend who nags, so I let it go. I was getting seriously annoyed because I was thinking, oh great, she's going to be hammered for our nice night that we had planned. At 6:30, she was not home yet. I saw on her location that she was now at a different bar from where they were taking shots at. I ate and asked my friends if they wanted to play PlayStation, so I packed up the food, put it in the fridge, and hopped on PlayStation with the boys. Girlfriend arrived home around 7:15 p.m. clearly drunk. She asked WTF I was doing about dinner. I said she was late and that dinner was done, but it's in the fridge so she can heat some up if she wants. She apologized for being a little bit late, but basically gave me a half-assed laughing apology saying, "You never know what to expect when the girls' gang go to brunch." I said that's fine, but now I have other plans. She called me rude and went to bed. We haven't talked much about it today, but I can tell she's being passive-aggressive, so am I the villain? Edit. Oh, and she also went and said my dinner didn't look very good, so she DoorDashed Taco Bell? Update, girlfriend and I talked. We are okay for the most part. She did sincerely apologize and admitted to her fucking up. She said she wished I came when she invited me, though, after she learned it might be out longer than like 2 p.m. They started another issue or thing we need to figure out in our relationship. She opened up and said she wished sometimes I was more outgoing and social. She said she wishes I wasn't fine with sitting around the apartment all the time. Let's talk about the story before the update. No, OP is not the villain, clearly. At least the girlfriend did come around to see that she was being the villain. This was already planned. He kept saying like, hey, you're gonna be home by 6:30? Hey, you're gonna be home by 6:30? And she just didn't make the effort to be home by 6:30. And then she got mad at OP when he was upset that she wasn't home by 6:30. Like, that doesn't make sense. On to the update, clearly he's just more introverted and she's more extroverted and wants to go out and do things. But like, she can't be upset at him for not wanting to do those same things that she does. If it means so much to her that she's gonna like be upset and like act this way about it, then they just shouldn't be together, because that's just like an incompatibility. Oh, and then the fact that she DoorDashed Taco Bell. Come on, he made the food for you, and then you DoorDashed Taco Bell after you were the one who was late and got mad at him for you being late. No, that's just not cool, man. And maybe it's just because she was drunk. Like, some people, you know, don't act the way they normally would when they're drunk, but that she's still the big villain of this story. Am I the villain for asking my wife to stop posting frequent selfies? Together 6 years, my first relationship that lasted longer than a year. She is the most sincere, supportive partner I've ever had. She is my favorite person, and I find her to be incredibly beautiful / sexy at all times. When we met, we were both on the heels of ended relationships, and I wasn't fully over an ex prior to the person I had broken up with. I overshared with her too many details about those relationships, including sexual stuff. I admit talking about one ex in particular a lot and liking their Instagram pics / leaving comments. This gave my wife the ick. Yeah. And made her feel insecure / inadequate for the first couple years of our relationship. You did this how long into your relationship? And she has admitted she agreed to stuff she wasn't comfortable with in order to keep things intact. I began to understand her viewpoint and stop the behaviors that were bothering her. I ended up proposing and got married. She is the most incredible wife. However, in spite of telling me that she is happy with me, she occasionally expresses bitterness about the fact that I made her feel like she was a safe choice. And as a result, she felt desexualized for a while and that she was useless unless she was making my life easier. Well, I feel like at this point, she just shouldn't be with him. Like, just probably just move on. Like, that's just the best for your own mental health, to not be with that person who makes you feel that way. I don't know what else I could do to make her feel better. I changed behaviors to make her happy, yet she is still resentful that we had no carefree honeymoon period of our relationship because of my actions, and that she thinks I act like not liking my ex's pictures was a big sacrifice on my end. I mean, that's valid too. Like, you changed behaviors, but like, you still did the behaviors first. Like, the problem wasn't, like, the problem already happened. You know, like, you can't take back the things that you did. And then I have the suspicion that every time she expresses some sort of negative emotion about the behaviors that you did, you just result to, but I stopped doing them. And that's why, you know, that's why she's saying that you act like not liking your ex's pictures was a big sacrifice, because you probably always bring it up every time she says that she's uncomfortable by it. She started making a ton of money a couple of years ago. She's brilliant and deserves it. As a result of having more resources for self-care, she got a weekly therapist and personal trainer. Good for her. And is now transformed into a baddie. Good for you, queen. Keeps getting hotter and is somehow even sexier than she was when I met her 11 years ago. I am glad she's doing this for herself. But she posts a lot of selfies, like 4 to 5 times a week. Like, yeah, she feels great. I don't understand why a wife would do this. I did lots of things for her, not talking or liking exes or any other woman's pictures. That's not the same as posting pictures of yourself. I gently brought it up and told her that I would feel more secure with less frequency, especially of the gym pics, and she got defensive. She said she feels better about herself on her own accord than I ever made her feel, and that it's her right to be confident in her body, insulting that I would assume it's for the male attention. Was I out of line asking her to stop? You were absolutely out of line asking her to stop. What? Do you not hear yourself? Do you think her posting pictures because she feels good about herself is the same as you liking pictures from your ex? It's not at all the same thing. There's nothing unfaithful about her posting a picture of herself that you can see and that you can like and that you can comment on. Now you're just starting to feel probably as insecure as she used to feel, but you actually have no reason to feel insecure, but you did give her valid reasons to feel insecure before. Honestly, I'm happy for the wife, and I just think that these people are also incompatible. I think she would just honestly probably be happier without OP in her life. This person said it perfectly. She has turned herself into the kind of woman you not so secretly liked to look at, and now you lost your emotional hold over her. The tables are turned and you don't like it. Tough luck. How you feel now is how you made her feel at the beginning of your relationship. Like it? You're the villain. Yeah, this guy sucks. Am I the villain for standing my ground during a birthday dinner? I have a son who recently turned 18. We are going out to celebrate his birthday with a family dinner with our family and his aunt and uncle. The night before, I asked him where he wanted to go, and he decided on an Indian restaurant we usually go to. Just to see if he wanted to switch it up or try something different, because it's a special occasion, I suggested another Indian restaurant we went to once about 5 years ago, and recently reopened. He declined, saying that he didn't remember the restaurant and didn't know if the quality would still be the same 5 years later. I then suggested a new sushi restaurant that caught my eye. He declined again because he didn't want to run the risk of having a bad restaurant for his birthday, so we stayed with the normal Indian restaurant. The next day, his aunt and uncle, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, came over. They are very nice people, and my son loves them a lot. I realized that they had already been to my son's chosen Indian restaurant twice already. I didn't want to bore our guests, so I brought up a new Greek restaurant that had also caught my eye and asked my son to look at the menu. He looked through it rather quickly and declined, but then I remembered there was a new Italian restaurant that I wanted to do for my birthday, but I felt like my son would really like too. And when I asked him to look at that place's menu, he said, okay, this already sounds exhausting. Like, he told you where he wanted to go already. Why do you keep suggesting all these other places? Like, that would... I feel like at this point, he's just like, okay, just to stop you from requesting more places. When we arrived at the Italian restaurant that night, we noticed that a more fast-paced pasta cafe had a location across the freeway. My brother-in-law joked that we could have gone there because it was cheaper. My son laughed, but I personally took offense to that. Why? Dinner gets served, and the food was really good. However, the 2 cake slices for dessert came out rather small, as if they cut it in half and served it to us as if there were 2 slices. And sure enough, the bill included 2 desserts, not 1. So I felt like we had been scammed. We passed the same fast food pasta cafe driving back home. My husband joked about how my son chose a fishy restaurant that scammed us. My son says, hey, this wasn't my choice. But then sister-in-law follows up with, could have gone to the fast food pasta place and they wouldn't have scammed us for $20. Joke. My son, now laughing, says, well, maybe talk to the person who chose the restaurant. He is being extremely disrespectful towards me, and all these jokes are offensive. Note my apostrophes. LOL. It's well past 3 strikes, and I shout that next time I'll keep my fucking mouth shut. I'm not going to stand by being attacked like this since my son is an adult who can make his own decisions. that you clearly don't respect because he made a decision and you kept suggesting other places. When we arrived home, my son tried to apologize. I didn't want to hear it. Later on, he tries to ask me how my dinner was. This was a fake attempt to make me feel better and apologize again. So I calmly reminded him again that I didn't want to talk about the dinner, and that was it. I didn't want to be reminded of how I was attacked over a simple restaurant. Am I the villain? Yeah? Like, what the... Dude, chill the fuck out. What's your problem? You wanted things to be your way, and then you wanted everybody to be happy that it was your way. Well, sorry, it didn't work out. Like, it's not your birthday. It's your son's birthday. You should have just let him have his way, and then nobody would have been clowning on you for the bad restaurant choice. How many times does someone have to say where he'd like to go for his birthday dinner? You pestered him out of his pick and act like he's disrespectful of you? And then at the end, when he goes up to her, trying to, like, release the tension and find some sort of common ground, she just shuts him down. You're the villain. Your son picked a place he likes for his birthday dinner. It's pretty clear you were, for some reason beyond my imagination, completely unwilling to just accept that. Why did you care so strongly about going anywhere but your son's favorite Indian place? Who cares if brother-in-law and sister-in-law have been there before? It's his birthday. You centered yourself in every part of this. Nowhere in here does it seem like you're thinking of what he wants or how he feels. You've got some reflecting to do. Perfectly said. Couldn't agree more. Am I the villain for telling my sister she's not really the kind of mom she says/thinks she is? My sister, we'll call Kamantha, is much older than me. Kamantha is a mom, and it's her whole personality. She constantly posts on social media that her home is open to any kid who might not feel like they have a place to go. She gets real into it, and every fifth or so post is one of those memes about being the cool place to crash, or that she wants to be the house where all the kids can just walk in and grab a soda. She has her kids' friends call her Mama K. Whatever. Recently, we were talking on the phone, and she cursed and said, "Not again," and said that she had to be quiet now so no one knew she was home. She then ranted about her neighbors who yell and scream all the time and their daughter who we'll call Annabelle. I guess Annabelle and Kamantha's daughter, Petal, are friends. Annabelle comes over every day, or tries to, rings the bell, and sits on the porch if they aren't home, etc. Kamantha said when Annabelle comes over, she's always asking for food and Kamantha feeds her most days. Kamantha said that Annabelle's older sister, Betty, refuses to go to the house when Dad is home. She will sleep on their porch. To me, this screams that these girls are at the very least food insecure, likely neglected, and possibly abused. Kamantha said that she was just done dealing with someone else's kid. I laughed and said, "Ha, so much for all those Facebook posts, eh?" Oh, she was pissed. She asked me what I meant by that, and I said that she posts about being the cool mom and the place all the neighborhood kids could crash, but when somebody actually needs to find that safe place, she's hiding in her bathroom pretending she's not at home. I said that I guess she's not really the kind of mom she always says she is. She went mental, screaming at me about how I don't know anything. Granted, Kamantha said that she'd be fine with it if the girl didn't bully Petal in school. I asked her what Annabelle had done to bully Petal, and she said that occasionally Annabelle doesn't sit with Petal at lunch and one time kicked mulch at her during recess. To me, these didn't sound like bullying, just like typical playground conflicts, and frankly, a pretty weak excuse, and I told her so. Anyway, Kamantha isn't talking to me currently and keeps sending me hateful texts about not knowing anything about kids. While I 100% don't think she's responsible for dealing with Annabelle, I do think she's being the villain for saying that she's that kind of mom online, but then not actually doing it when it's happening in real life. So, am I the villain? Edit, I did ask during the call if she had called CPS on the parents. Kamantha said she doesn't have enough evidence to make a report. I told her that sleeping outside rather than inside because the dad was home was evidence, and she told me to shut up and not tell her what to do. I also live 3 states away, and I don't know any of the addresses or even the streets that Betty and Annabelle live off of, so I don't actually think I can call CPS, as all I have is third-hand conversations as evidence and no specific location. No, I don't think you're the villain because, I think it's true what you're saying, that she is really playing up this whole, oh, I'm so nice and welcoming and a safe place for kids to go, come over anytime, and then, when it actually starts happening, she is complaining about it and pretending she's not home so she doesn't have to deal with it. You're just calling her out. That doesn't make you the villain. That just makes you tell the truth. There's a bigger issue with this story, and that's what is up with the parents. OP's right. Her sleeping outside on the porch is definitely evidence enough. That already is sign of neglect, and if it's out of fear of a parent, then that's definitely abuse. So I don't know why Kamantha is being so combative about calling CPS on this kid. Clearly she doesn't want to help this kid at all. which just further proves that OP is correct in saying what OP said, where, you know, she's not the kind of mom that she says she is, because she doesn't actually care about the well-being of kids when it's time to do so. I hope these kids are okay. I hope somebody's able to call CPS. I mean, if she's sleeping on the porch, there has to be more people who notice this, right? So either Samantha's just making this up completely, or somebody has to do something. I hope. If I were OP, I think I would at least call and see, like, ask CPS myself. The OP knows where their sister is, I'm assuming. Like, they have the address of their sister. So, like, if they could just do maybe, like, a wellness check. I don't know how CPS works at all. But I just really hope somebody does something. Alrighty, well, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this content or you like me, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I do have exciting news. I did reach over 100 subscribers on this channel, so that's really exciting. I know it's pretty small compared to like other milestones, but like if you think about like 100 people sitting in front of you and you're talking in front of them, like that's crazy. That's a lot of people. So thank you so much. Should I do like a 100 subscriber celebration thing? Like I don't know, like 100 facts about myself or something? Let me know if you're interested in seeing something like that, or if you just want me to keep making the same videos that I usually make. I will still make those videos, but I guess let me know if you want me to make an extra video. That's not what I usually make.